Good morning, everyone. This is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? I'm going to do a Victober wrap-up, as much as it is a Victober wrap-up, and a TBR for November, and then a couple of other things, too. Okay, so it is October 29th. Is there a moth flying around in this car? I just saw something fly. Anyway, so it's Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. I'm at my usual park, but I couldn't park in the regular place that I do because they were having some kind of photo shoot. Yeah, there is something flying around in this car. I hope it's just a moth. Anyway, let me see if I can proceed. So, Victober, I had high hopes for Victober, but it really got derailed by October 7th and the horrible events of that day. And I lost my motivation, I lost my focus. And so I kind of stumbled along. And on top of it, as much as I really love Anthony Trollope and I have a goal to read all his works, this just doesn't, the way we live now just doesn't grab me the way his other books have. So I'm this far. See, I only have this much left. Some of this is notes. So let's see, I've gotten to page, I think which page am I on? 598. And I still have to go till 825. So if I don't finish it by the end of October in 2 days, I'll probably finish it a couple days after. And so I do plan to complete it, and I think it will be a worthwhile read. Maybe I've heard people at the end, they say that it was a real page turner. I think that to have to go to almost 600 pages and not be a page turner, is requiring a lot of the reader. Not that I think it's a bad book. Anthony Trollope, his not so good books are better than the average book to begin with. He's a great writer. But I'm only mildly interested in what happens to anybody in this book. I don't really like anybody. And I mean, the one that I'm liking the most is actually Marie Melmotte. Everybody else, most of them are not worthwhile. And I'm just not invested in any of the characters very deeply. So it's interesting and I'll finish it, but it's not going to be my number one Anthony Trollope book. I enjoyed Dr. Wardle's School much better, much more. Also, there is anti-Semitism, and like I said before, right now, just any even whiff of anti-Semitism I just find so appalling right now. So, yeah. So that's what's going on with that. I will finish it, probably not exactly at the end of October, but I'll continue on and read it into November. The other book that I'm still working on is the audio of Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. I'm really enjoying that. I don't care if it goes into December. I think I'm only up to chapter 19. But I'm very happy to listen to it all through November and into December. It's got all the good feels. I really like Dickens for his humanitarian heart. He really cared for the poor, and he describes their plight in such a sympathetic way. So I'm enjoying Little Dorrit a lot. And I don't listen to it every day, but a few times a week I do listen to it. And I'm just going to keep plugging along with it, and I'm not putting any pressure on myself to finish it, to try to cram it. So those are the two big Victober things, and I finished Moonfleet. I tried twice to download Mrs. Warren's Profession onto my Kindle. Neither time was I successful. I was trying to get it off of Project Gutenberg. I'm going to try again today, but I don't think I'm going to read it before the end of October. I am interested in George Bernard Shaw, who wrote that play and many other plays. So I know eventually I'll read it because I am interested in reading more of his work. But it's not going to happen for Victober. The other thing is the Victorian ghost stories. Oh, I didn't bring it with me. I hope on Halloween to read a ghost story from that collection of Victorian ghost stories that I had. And that'll be it. That'll be it for Victober. And I'm really thinking next year I'm just going to do one short Victorian book because October is incredibly busy. And this October has been very busy. Last weekend, we went up to Pennsylvania to visit my daughter up there, and we met her fiance's parents, who were lovely. And and then our car broke down on Sunday, and so we had to take the train home. We had to get towed, and then earlier this week we had to get a rental and then go pick up the van. It just complicated so many things, just so many things. And then yesterday we went to visit my son and his wife and the two grandkids in Maryland. So we were gone all day yesterday. So it's just busy and family and the garden and just keeping house and cooking dinner and grocery shopping and doing things at church, and all that stuff takes precedence. And I just don't, and because I'm a slow reader, I just can't get that much in. So I don't want to feel pushed. So anyway, so that was the Victober stuff. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I don't know. Anyway, for the first time, I'm not going to have my hornblower read in the month that it was supposed to be read. So this was October's hornblower, Admiral Hornblower in the West Indies. I've just started it. I read a couple of pages and then I put it down for a few days. I'm just to page 48. So this is what I want to focus on in the first week of November, because some of the people in the readathon read it, what I'm considering the last book, Hornblower During the Crisis. They read that back in April. I didn't. So I'm going to read this now, and then maybe after Thanksgiving I'll read that. It's a shorter one. It's the shortest one, I think. So maybe I can get 2 done in November. But yeah, that's the first time I haven't finished it in the month, but that's okay. At least I started it. So I'm going to read this for November. So I guess now I'm into my November TBR. So Hornblower, possibly 2 books of Hornblower in November. Then I am still in with the Nancy Drew read along that Mitzi at Mitzi Reads and Writes is hosting, and I've got the Bungalow Mystery, which is the next one. I got it from Thrift Books. Here, there's one of the. Now the people in the Voxer group are really into this. I don't have enough time to be that detailed about it, but I must say I'm enjoying it, and so for now I'm in. When it stops being enjoyable, or when it just becomes a thing that one more thing that I can't fit in, I'll stop. But for now, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying collecting these too, actually. So yeah, so that's November. So Hornblower, Nancy Drew. The thing I really, really have been wanting to do is I've been reading this book, Thomas Merton's The 7-Story Mountain, an autobiography of faith. I've been reading it in the morning when I pray. I've just been reading a few pages at a time. I'm only on page 118. This has been going on for a while. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to curl up with this book and just read it. It's beautifully written, and I just want to curl up and read it. It's not the type of book that lends itself well, I think, to sort of meditation in a way. I think you have to, I want to read the whole thing in one fell swoop rather than parse it out in tiny bits. So this is a book that I would like to be able to, at some point in November, just focus on and read that. Then in November, and I don't know, Linda Jo Martin, if you are watching, are we doing this buddy read with the Johnstown flood? I want to do it, but I'd prefer, if you can do it, I know you're very busy, you're building your house, if we could do it in the second half of November, or maybe even start after Thanksgiving and go into December. I'm okay with even pushing it to December. But whatever, I don't want to start off November with this because I want to finish up Victober and get other things under my belt. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is going to be, nonfiction November, and it's also Historathon for me. So I hope we can read it, Linda, but I just am hoping that it would be the second half of November. So I am looking forward to that in November. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? I think, there's 2 other things going on in November. One is the Rating Project Gutenberg that Christie at Dostoevsky in Space is hosting. And that's why I'm trying to figure out how to download things on my Kindle from Project Gutenberg. And the group read for that reading event was Poor Folks by Dostoevsky. Well, I really want to read more Dostoevsky, so I was really, really interested in that. So I'm going to try today to get people to help me in my house to figure out how to download things on my Kindle. And I do want to read Poor Folks, or at least I want to start it. So that's another thing that I want to do in November. And then Christy is also involved in something, but this has a bunch of different people, and I can't remember everybody who's in it, except I do. But his channel is. I'm blanking on his channel. Tristan and the Classics. Oh, and Chelsea of Voyage of the Time Wanderer. Who else is in it? There was Christy and there was somebody else. I'm sorry. But anyway, they're doing World War November. The World War they're referring to is the First World War, which I can always learn more about. And the group read they're doing is Testament of Youth by Vera Brittain, and I remember the BBC series like back in the 70s on that. Apparently they remade a movie. I'm gonna drink my coffee while it's hot. Or they did another version of it. So I vaguely remember the mini series back in the 70s. I would like to read that too, but I don't know if I'll have time or if I'll be in the mood. So that is going to be just sort of, if that can happen, that's great. If not. So I will tell you that I started reading something else because I just wasn't in the mood for The Way We Live Now. There were a few days I just didn't pick it up at all. And so I read another Mary Stewart book. And I think she might be becoming my comfort read. Because I read Rose Cottage in the summer, which I enjoyed. And that was a very gentle mystery. Then I just read, and I just happened to have downloaded it on my Kindle through Book Gorilla. It was called Wildfire at Midnight, which was not a good title. It should be Bonfire at Midnight, because there were no wildfires, but there were bonfires. This one was much spookier and scary. It was about a serial murderer, and it was one of those, what do you call those mysteries where it's like all people trapped somewhere? There's a bunch of people trapped somewhere, and one of them is the murderer. Often it's like at an English country house or something. But this one, it was in a hotel out in the wilderness on the Isle of Skye. And it was told in the first person. And it was scary. I like Mary Stewart's writing. She's not a deep writer, but she writes, it flows really well. And it's, it's clean. It's more pleasant to read. I guess they're cozy reads. Is that what you call a cozy mystery? I never quite understood cozy mystery because often there's murder. So what's cozy about murder? I don't know. But anyway, I did enjoy it a lot. And so I do think Mary Stewart might be someone I want to read more of, just because she's a light but engaging author that, is a quick read, is a fun, quick, absorbing read. So I did read that. So that's the only book that I finished since my last video. But then I was in the mood for mysteries, so I looked at other stuff I had downloaded, and now I'm in the middle of Agatha Christie's Ordeal by Innocence. That's the name of it. Apparently that was also made into some kind of mini-series or movie, which I have not seen. But I'm enjoying it too, though it's a little bit, I don't know if I like the way she talks about adoption and stuff in it. It's a little bit Freudian, maybe, or something. There's a little bit, there's something about the psychoanalysis of everybody that I don't quite jive with. It's very cynical, very cynical. But I'm going to read it because I want to find out who did it. So that's what I'm reading right now on my Kindle. And then I'm trying to finish up The Way We Live Now, listening to Little Dorrit, reading Thomas Merton. So I think that's it, except for I have 2 children's books. I'm still reading The Pushcart War. And this has been such a a relief because it is not anti-Semitic, even though there are Jewish characters in it. It's New York. It's in New York around Delancey and Hester Street, and there's a guy in here named Mr. Jerusalem, and it's just a very clever commentary on war and the media, and it's really clever. I'm really enjoying reading this to the 8-year-old grandson. I don't know if he's getting as much out of it as I am, but I'm really enjoying it. So that's one. And then I've been showing, that's one children's book. And then I've been showing picture books lately. And so I had to show you the very favorite picture book this past week for my 4-year-old grandson that I watch every day. And it's this one. The Little Old Lady Who Is Not Afraid of Anything. I have to read this every single day after lunch. And he just loves it. And we go through all the sounds. 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants goes wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt goes shake, shake. 2 gloves go clap, clap. 1 hat go nod, nod. And 1 scary pumpkin head go boo, boo. So we have to read that. And the illustrations are great. So it's a very cute, pretending to be spooky, but not spooky at all, children's book. And so I highly recommend it. It's by Linda Williams and illustrated by Megan Lloyd. And it's really delightful. So that's the Halloween picture book for Halloween 2023 for us. So, all right. So I think that's it from me. I probably forgot something. I always forget something. But I think that's it. So I hope you are doing well. I hope you had a fantastic Victober, much better than mine. And yeah, and I hope all the events in November are going to be exciting. November is going to be so busy for me. I really can't prioritize books as much as I would like to. It's just going to be super busy. Anyway, all right. So I will talk to you later. Hope you're doing well. Happy reading.